Listen closely, for this message is reaching you at a divinely appointed moment. Something in your spirit has already sensed it. You didn't click on this by accident. You were drawn here, pulled here, summoned here by a whisper that has been stirring inside you for days, maybe even weeks. There's been a tension in the atmosphere around your life, a pressure, a heaviness, a shift you could feel, but couldn't name. And now, finally, heaven is giving language to what your soul has been wrestling with. The enemy tried something against you, but God stepped in and blocked it. You felt the attack before you could explain it. The sudden exhaustion, the strange frustrations, the unexpected setbacks, the people acting differently around you, the plans that should have worked but strangely fell apart. Something in your life has been under spiritual interference, and deep down you knew it wasn't random. You could sense resistance forming around you, as if something unseen was pushing back against the progress you were trying to make. And you're right, it wasn't just life. It wasn't just stress. It wasn't just coincidence. It was spiritual. But here is the beauty of the moment you're in right now. What the enemy attempted didn't succeed. What was designed to break you only revealed how protected you truly are. What was meant to stop you actually exposed just how unstoppable the calling on your life really is. Heaven has been intervening behind the scenes, blocking arrows you never saw, shutting doors that would have harmed you, preventing conversations that would have wounded you, interrupting plans that were secretly formed against you. You may not have witnessed the battle, but you're about to see the victory. There's a reason you're still standing. There's a reason your spirit hasn't collapsed under the weight of everything you've been carrying. There's a reason the attack formed, but also a reason it failed. Someone needs this word today. You are covered. You are chosen. You are guarded by a protection that cannot be breached. God stepped into a situation you didn't even know about and said, "Not this one. Not my chosen one. Not today." And as you continue listening, you're going to understand what was blocked, why it was blocked, and what is now being released in your life as a result. The attack didn't work, but the revelation you're about to receive will. Because this, right here, is your confirmation. And the truth is, the intervention that took place on your behalf wasn't random, wasn't partial, and wasn't delayed. It was intentional, precise, and perfectly timed. What moved for you didn't move because of chance. It moved because God Himself stepped in with authority. You're not listening to mere encouragement right now. You're hearing the echo of something heaven already decided long before the enemy even attempted to touch your life. There are moments in your journey when God allows you to feel the weight of a storm, just long enough to remind you of His protection, not to frighten you, but to reveal that you're never facing anything alone. This was one of those moments. Before the enemy made his move, God had already issued a counter-command. Before the trap was set, a divine hand had already dismantled it. Before the intention formed in darkness, a decree was spoken in light. It will not stand. This message comes from the one who sees what you cannot see. The one who scans the intentions of every heart. The one who perceives every plot before it even becomes a plan. The one who knows every corridor of your destiny and every shadow that tries to interfere with it. And from that place of perfect vision, God is revealing something to you today. The enemy reached for you, but found heaven standing in the way. You weren't abandoned. You weren't overlooked. You weren't left vulnerable. Even when you felt unguarded, you were surrounded. Even when you felt unsure, you were held. There's a divine covering over your life that has been active long before you ever realized it. And now in this sacred moment, God is pulling back the curtain so you can understand the magnitude of what He just saved you from. You see, there's a reason the interference felt heavier than usual. A reason the spiritual pressure seemed to intensify. A reason you felt targeted in ways that were almost unexplainable. The enemy believed he found a window, a moment of fatigue, a moment of worry, a moment where your guard seemed low. But what he underestimated was the God who walks with you, the God who defends you without being asked, the God who fights for you even when you're too weary to fight for yourself. This message is his way of saying, I was there. I saw it. I stopped it. And more than that, he wants you to know that the attempt against you wasn't just blocked. It was redirected, reversed, and rendered powerless. What was meant to drain you is now becoming the very confirmation that you are divinely protected. What was intended to confuse you is becoming evidence that God is intimately involved in your journey. You are receiving this word not because you're weak, but because you're watched over. Not because you're vulnerable, but because you're valuable. Heaven is making something clear. Your destiny is too important to be tampered with. Your purpose is too significant to be sabotaged. And your anointing is too potent to be touched. This is why the message arrives now, to show you that what was meant to shake you has actually awakened you. Something greater is unfolding, and you're being prepared to see it with new eyes. What's becoming clear now is that the attack wasn't just random pressure. It was a direct response to something powerful shifting in your life. The enemy moved because he sensed movement around you. He tried to interfere because he detected acceleration. He attempted to block you because he recognized what you're just beginning to understand. A breakthrough has been set in motion and nothing could stop it. The prophecy unfolding over your life in this season is this: God has positioned you in a moment where the plans of darkness are collapsing and the plans of heaven are advancing. What you survived wasn't just an attack, it was an announcement. It was a sign that something destined, something long awaited, something spiritually significant is drawing near. The enemy always attacks what he fears. And lately, he has feared you. You may not have felt strong. You may not have felt chosen. You may not have felt spiritually powerful. But what you felt has never dictated what God sees. While you were wondering why the pressure intensified, heaven was watching the enemy panic. While you were questioning the delays, heaven knew the enemy was scrambling. While you were trying to hold yourself together, heaven was observing the exact moment the enemy realized, I can't stop what God is releasing. The prophecy is this: you are stepping into a season where God is reversing what was sent against you, elevating you above what tried to bring you down, and revealing blessings that were hidden until the appointed time. The interference you've been sensing was actually the final resistance before manifestation. Imagine this: a door standing before you, glowing with destiny. Behind it lies everything that has been held for you: favor, clarity, restoration, opportunity, peace. But as you approached it, the atmosphere around you shifted. You felt the pressure because you were getting close. You felt the spiritual turbulence because the door was unlocking. The enemy detected it too. He saw you moving towards something he couldn't control, couldn't delay, couldn't deny. So he launched a last-minute attempt. But God blocked it. And now the door is not merely opening, it is swinging wide. This moment, this message, this divine interruption in your day is heaven's way of saying, the thing that was coming against you was no match for me, and the thing that is coming toward you cannot be stopped. The prophecy continues. God is not just protecting you, He's pushing you, not just shielding you, but shifting you, not just blocking the attack, but clearing the path. There are blessings that were once delayed that are now accelerating. There are opportunities that were previously obstructed that are now aligning themselves. There are relationships that were clouded with confusion now being illuminated with truth. And there is a peace returning to you that you didn't realize you had lost. Something sacred is about to reveal itself. Some of you have been feeling an odd mixture lately, a pull towards something new and a pressure from something old. That tension is prophetic. It means a chapter is ending and a new assignment is being activated. It means God has dismantled what was draining you and is preparing to release what will sustain you. It means the enemy sensed the shift and failed to stop it, and now the shift will no longer be subtle. The unveiling is this: God has placed His hand over your next steps. Your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered. Your favor is being released in places you haven't even imagined. Your battles are being settled before you ever see them, and your path is being illuminated with a clarity that will make sense of everything you just endured. The enemy tried to interrupt your destiny, but all he succeeded in doing was revealing how unstoppable your destiny actually is. In the coming days, things will begin to move in ways that will feel almost surreal. Doors opening without effort, distractions falling away, people entering your life who feel sent, not stumbled upon, ideas flowing with ease, strength returning to places where you once felt empty. This is the season of divine reversal, divine protection, and divine unveiling. The enemy tried it, but God blocked it. And now God is about to reveal why. And as this revelation unfolds, it becomes clear that what you went through wasn't merely an attack. It was a spiritual indicator, a signal that something divine was shifting beneath the surface. To understand the weight of what God blocked, you must understand the depth of what was being protected. Every battle you've faced in this season carries a spiritual meaning, a significance far greater than the surface-level struggles you experienced. Nothing that touched your life happened without purpose. Nothing you endured was wasted. Nothing you survived passed through your hands without divine intention shaping it. You see, there are seasons in the life of someone called by God where the spiritual realm becomes more active, not because you've done something wrong, but because you're moving closer to something right. Pressure is often the shadow of promotion. Resistance is the echo of elevation. When heaven is preparing to reveal a new dimension of your purpose, the enemy will attempt to disrupt the process, not because he's powerful, but because he's threatened. And this time, what he tried to do wasn't an accident. It was targeted. It was intentional. It was designed to interfere with your spiritual alignment. But the deeper truth is, this God allowed you to feel just enough of the pressure to awaken your discernment, yet stepped in before any real damage could be done. That is the mark of divine guardianship. That is the signature of a chosen vessel. That is the assurance that you are being shaped by destiny, not shaken by adversity. Think of your life like a journey through seasons. Seasons of planting, seasons of growth, seasons of pruning, seasons of harvest. You have been in a long season of refining, where God has been removing what cannot go with you and strengthening what must remain. This latest attack was nothing more than the wind shaking loose the final dead branches. It wasn't the storm that breaks the tree. It was the storm that reveals its depth of root. Spiritually, you've been experiencing a shift from waiting to walking, from hoping to receiving, from surviving to emerging. And every shift comes with turbulence. The enemy sensed the stirring in the soil of your life. He felt the vibration of something awakening in you. A clarity that was coming, a blessing that was forming a door that was unlocking. And he attempted to interfere with your balance before you could step into it fully. But the deeper meaning is this: the interference exposed the importance of what's ahead. If it were small, the enemy wouldn't have bothered. If it were insignificant, he wouldn't have tried to stop it. If it were easy to derail, he would have succeeded. But because it is sacred, strategic, and saturated with purpose, God Himself stood between you and the attack. There is also meaning in the timing. You're in a season where old cycles are breaking. Cycles of discouragement, cycles of stagnation, cycles of false starts. Cycles of people-pleasing, cycles of emotional exhaustion, cycles of spiritual instability. And when a cycle ends, the enemy fears the new identity that will emerge. He fears the confidence you step into once the confusion clears. He fears the authority you discover when you finally recognize who you are in God. This is why the attack felt personal, because your transformation is personal. Spiritually, this season is not just about breakthrough. It's about awakening. It's about understanding the magnitude of the calling on your life. God is revealing that you are not just someone moving through life, you are someone being moved by heaven. Every setback strengthened something within you. Every disappointment rerouted you closer to your purpose. Every betrayal removed someone who could not handle the weight of your destiny. And every attack formed against you revealed the spiritual truth that you are surrounded by divine protection, no matter how intense the pressure becomes. The deeper meaning behind God blocked it is this: He did not simply stop something from reaching you. He preserved who you are becoming. He protected your mindset. He shielded your spirit. He guarded your heart. He preserved your path. He kept your purpose intact. Because what is coming next requires clarity, strength, stability, and spiritual maturity. And you've been developing all of these through experiences that felt painful, but were actually purposeful. God has been preparing you to carry the blessing He is about to release. Every storm taught you something. Every delay refined you. Every battle sharpened your discernment. Every loss softened your heart in the right ways and strengthened it in others. This is the spiritual depth of your story. You have been transformed not in spite of the enemy's attempts, but because God used them to shape you. You are stepping into a season where you will not only receive what God has promised, you will finally understand why the journey looked the way it did. As this spiritual truth settles into your spirit, you may begin to recognize that the signs of the shift have already been appearing around you. Some of them were subtle. Some of them were loud. But all of them were intentional. Heaven rarely moves without leaving traces, and God rarely blocks an attack without offering confirmation that His hand was involved. One of the clearest signs you may have experienced is a sudden change in atmosphere. Perhaps in the past few days or weeks, you felt a heaviness lift unexpectedly, almost as if something invisible broke off your shoulders. You didn't know how to explain it, but the weight that once felt constant simply eased. That wasn't coincidence. That was the moment God interrupted what was forming against you. Another confirmation is the inner restlessness you felt before the shift. It was like your spirit was on high alert, even if your mind didn't fully understand why. You felt uneasy, uncomfortable, or unusually sensitive to your surroundings. That was discernment, not anxiety. That was heaven nudging you, keeping you spiritually awake, while divine protection moved on your behalf. You may also have noticed people shifting around you. Someone growing distant for no obvious reason. Someone's true intentions suddenly revealed. Someone who once felt safe beginning to show signs of being misaligned with your path. This wasn't rejection, it was divine redirection. Sometimes God blocks the attack by removing the attacker, even if the person never showed their full intention. Their exit was protection. A fourth sign is the unexpected pause or delay you encountered. Something you were trying to move forward with suddenly slowed down or stopped altogether. It frustrated you at first, confused you, maybe even discouraged you. But looking back, you'll realize the slowdown prevented you from stepping into something harmful. God interrupted your momentum because He saw a snare you could not see. Another powerful confirmation is the return of clarity after chaos. There were days when your mind felt clouded. Your thoughts scattered, your emotions heavy, and then suddenly clarity began to flow again. Peace started settling back into your spirit. Your mind felt lighter. Your direction felt clearer. That was the evidence that the spiritual interference had been halted. And finally, some of you received a direct sign in your dreams. Maybe a warning, maybe a symbol, maybe a sense of protection. God often speaks through dreams when the natural world is too loud for us to hear. If you've had vivid dreams recently, especially ones involving light breaking through darkness, closed doors, blocked paths, or divine shielding that was not random imagery, it was confirmation. These signs weren't just coincidences. They were spiritual signals that something was happening behind the scenes. God was not only blocking the attack, He was revealing the evidence of His involvement so you would not confuse His protection with luck or chance. You were meant to notice these things. You were meant to feel the shift. You were meant to recognize the fingerprints of God on the situations that didn't make sense until now. He has been speaking. He has been guiding. He has been clearing the path, and these signs are His gentle way of saying, I've been with you the whole time. But with every divine intervention comes a truth you must understand before fulfillment arrives. Hidden challenges often surface. These challenges are not punishments. They are not signs of abandonment. They are not indications that God has withdrawn His hand. Instead, they are spiritual pressure points, moments designed to strengthen you for what you're stepping into next. One of the first hidden challenges you may face is the confusion that lingers after the attack is blocked. Even though the danger has passed, your mind may still carry echoes of the fear, the anxiety, or the uncertainty you felt during the intensity of the pressure. You may find yourself asking, why did this happen? Why did it feel so heavy? This inner questioning is not a weakness. It's a sign that you are processing something spiritual with a human mind. God is not upset with your confusion. He's guiding you through it. Another challenge is the quietness that follows the battle. Often after God blocks something, your life may feel strangely still. Things pause. People go silent. Opportunities seem to momentarily freeze. This silence isn't emptiness, it's spiritual recalibration. Heaven is rearranging things on your behalf, aligning the next steps you cannot yet see. The stillness is not abandonment. It's preparation. Then there is the emotional fatigue. You may not realize how much energy the spiritual interference drained from you until afterward. Once the pressure lifts, you might feel tired, unmotivated, or emotionally sensitive. This is normal. It's spiritual recovery. Your spirit has been fighting battles you didn't fully see, and now God is giving you space to breathe again. Don't mistake this fatigue for failure. It's healing. Another hidden challenge is the enemy's whisper of discouragement. Even after his attempt is blocked, he may try to plant thoughts like, nothing is changing. You're still stuck. You're not moving forward. These lies are the last remnants of a defeated strategy. The enemy always speaks the loudest when he has the least power. The discouragement you hear is proof that he lost access. A fifth challenge is the temptation to retreat into old habits or old identities. When you experience spiritual turbulence, your mind may try to reach for familiar patterns, even ones God delivered you from. It's not that you're going backward. It's that your spirit is shedding old layers that can't come with you. God is calling you to stand firm and not return to what once felt comfortable, but was never aligned. And finally, a hidden challenge many people overlook is the humility required to accept divine protection. Sometimes knowing that God blocked something we didn't know how to fight can stir feelings of vulnerability. It forces us to recognize how dependent we truly are on grace. But this humility is not meant to make you feel small. It's meant to make you feel covered. Every challenge you face in this season is purposeful. Every moment of confusion will lead to clarity. Every moment of stillness will lead to acceleration. Every moment of fatigue will lead to renewed strength. You're not being tested to prove your weakness. You're being tested to reveal your readiness. The challenges are not walls. They are windows, not obstacles, but opportunities to grow into the person who can carry the blessing that is approaching. And the beauty of it all is this: God has already accounted for every challenge you face. Not one of them can stop what he has planned. Now that the interference has been exposed and the hidden challenges understood, there is a sacred responsibility that comes with this moment. Whenever God blocks an attack, he doesn't just protect you, he positions you. He doesn't just secure your path, he prepares you for it. And in this season, heaven is offering specific instructions to help you walk into what has been released with wisdom, strength, and spiritual clarity. The first instruction is this: guard your atmosphere. Not everything deserves access to your mind, your emotions, or your spirit. After a spiritual attack, your environment becomes especially important. There are conversations you can no longer entertain. There are distractions you can no longer tolerate. There are people whose energy is too chaotic to stay in your inner circle. This isn't about isolation, it's about alignment. God is calling you to be intentional about what you let near your peace, because your peace is now the gateway to your breakthrough. The second instruction: stay rooted in prayer, even when you feel stable. Many people pray hardest during the storm and pull back when peace returns. But your strength will come from consistency, not urgency. God is inviting you into a steady rhythm of communion, not desperate, not rushed, but grounded. A prayer life that is consistent becomes a shield the enemy cannot penetrate. It becomes the spiritual oxygen your next season requires. Third instruction: pay attention to your discernment. In this season, your spirit will notice things before your mind does. You'll feel discomfort before you see the reason. You'll sense shifts before they become visible. Do not ignore these inner nudges. Discernment is one of the greatest gifts God has given you, and it has been sharpened through everything you just endured. If something feels off, step back. If someone feels unsafe, create space. If a door feels forced, don't push it. Your sensitivity is not an inconvenience, it's guidance. The fourth instruction is powerful. Prepare for acceleration by simplifying your life. You cannot carry unnecessary weight into a season designed for movement. God is calling you to release what is draining you, remove what is distracting you, and simplify what has become overly complicated. This might mean reorganizing your schedule. It might mean letting go of obligations that no longer align. It might mean clearing mental or emotional clutter. God is about to move quickly, and he wants you free enough to move with him. The fifth instruction: speak life over your path. Words carry power in the spiritual realm, and in times of transition, your words shape what comes next. God is urging you to speak boldly. Speak favor, speak clarity, speak healing, speak abundance. Reject every negative narrative the enemy tried to plant in your mind during the attack. Replace it with the truth God has spoken, that you are protected, chosen, and divinely guided. Your voice is a weapon, and it is time to use it intentionally. The sixth instruction: stay open to unexpected opportunities. When God blocks something, he often releases something better in its place, sometimes in ways you wouldn't expect. Be flexible. Be attentive. Be willing to say yes to things that stretch you. The new doors God is preparing may not look like the old ones. Some blessings will come disguised as change, discomfort, or redirection. Stay available for divine surprises. And the seventh instruction: keep moving forward. The attack tried to paralyze you emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. But God is calling you to move, even if slowly, even if cautiously. Forward motion breaks the lingering residue of fear. Forward motion signals to heaven that you are ready. Forward motion tells the spiritual realm that you cannot be stopped. Your steps don't have to be perfect, they just have to continue. Each of these instructions is not a burden. It is an empowerment. God is not demanding, he is equipping. He is showing you how to walk in the strength he has already placed within you. These instructions are like spiritual keys, unlocking the doors that were once closed and preparing your heart for the blessings now approaching. You are being guided, shaped, and positioned with purpose. You are being aligned with clarity and intention. You are being prepared not just to receive the blessing, but to carry it well. Follow these instructions with a willing heart, and you will begin to see the pathway ahead illuminate in ways you never expected. And as these instructions settle into your spirit, there is something God wants you to feel just as strongly as the guidance He has given you are protected. You are covered. You are surrounded in ways you cannot see but can absolutely sense. What tried to reach you failed, not because you were strong enough to stop it, but because heaven refused to let it touch you. There is a divine hedge around your life in this season, one that has been reinforced through every prayer, every tear, every moment you chose faith over fear. That hedge is not fragile. It is not temporary. It is not easily broken. It is woven with the strength of God's promises, His love, and His covenant with you. When the enemy tried to approach, he encountered a wall. He could not climb a barrier. He could not cross a fire. He could not pass through. You are not walking through your life unguarded. You are not stepping into your future exposed. You are not navigating this transition alone. There are angels assigned to you not metaphorically, but spiritually and actively. You may not see them, but you have felt their presence in moments when peace arrived unexpectedly, when danger passed without explanation, when clarity returned without warning. That was protection. That was covering. That was heaven standing watch. God also wants you to know that nothing reaches you without first passing through Him. Nothing enters your life without His permission. Nothing threatens you without Him placing boundaries around the impact. Even the things you didn't understand were filtered through divine love. This is why the attack failed. This is why the attempt collapsed. This is why confusion didn't consume you. This is why fear didn't swallow you whole. This is why despair did not drown you, because God Himself intervened. And right now, He's wrapping you in a reassurance that your spirit has been craving. You are safe in my hands. You may have walked through seasons where you felt unprotected, unseen, or unsupported. But this is not one of those seasons. God is making it unmistakably clear that He is actively involved in your journey. His protection is not passive. It is intentional. It moves. It shields. It redirects. It warns. It blocks. It lifts. It comforts. Picture yourself walking through a storm with a great luminous light surrounding you, wind raging, shadows, shifting voices whispering, but none of it touching you. That is what your spirit has been experiencing. The storm was real, but so was the shield. The attack was real, but so was the barrier. The enemy was real, but so was your defender. And here's the assurance: the same God who just blocked the enemy's attempt is the same God who is going to guide you into your breakthrough. He does not protect you halfway. He does not stop a battle just to abandon you afterward. He finishes what He starts. So breathe. Rest. Lean into this peace. This protection is not temporary, it is ongoing. This assurance is not symbolic, it is literal. This presence is not distant, it is near. You are covered in the shadow of the Almighty, and nothing can penetrate what God has sealed. And now, as the weight lifts and the protection settles around you, something profound begins to unfold within your spirit. You can feel it even now, a quiet shift, a gentle awakening, a sense that something inside you has changed. You are not the same person who entered the battle. You are emerging with a new clarity, a new strength, a new awareness of who you are and who you belong to. This is the beginning of your transformation. When God blocks an attack, it doesn't just keep you safe, it elevates you. It reshapes you. It awakens the parts of you that were dormant. It brings forward the identity the enemy hoped you would never discover. And that transformation is already happening. You're thinking differently. You're seeing differently. You're responding differently. What used to drain you no longer holds the same power. What used to break you no longer pierces as deeply. What used to intimidate you no longer carries the same weight. This is the evidence of divine fulfillment beginning to move. You are stepping into a version of yourself you've never met before, stronger, wiser, more spiritually equipped, more grounded in truth, and more aligned with destiny. The unnecessary layers have fallen off. The emotional fog has lifted. The spiritual heaviness has dissolved. God is revealing the real you, the you that was always hidden beneath the noise, the doubt, the warfare, the distractions. And with this transformation comes fulfillment. A fulfillment of promises spoken in silence. A fulfillment of prayers you whispered when nobody heard you. A fulfillment of seeds you planted in faith long before the harvest appeared. A fulfillment of the destiny that has been following you since the moment you were formed. There is a shift happening in the atmosphere of your life. Doors that were tightly shut are beginning to open. Opportunities that once felt out of reach are drawing near. Conversations that were delayed are being reignited with purpose. Connections that align with your calling are being sent toward you. You are walking into a season where things that once felt impossible will begin unfolding with surprising ease. Where clarity arrives without struggle. Where peace becomes your default state, not your temporary escape. Where joy grows roots in places where sorrow once lived. Where favor follows you not because you earned it, but because God ordained it. This is the season where you begin to see why the attack was so fierce, because the blessing is so significant. God is not simply restoring you, He is redefining you. He is setting you on a path that echoes with promise and glows with purpose. You are stepping into alignment with the identity heaven always knew you carried. And with that identity comes fulfillment. Not just of external blessings, but internal breakthroughs. You'll notice your confidence returning, your creativity awakening, your hope rising, your faith expanding, your spirit standing taller. This is the version of you the enemy feared. This is the version of you God has been shaping. This is the version of you that is now ready to receive what has been waiting. And as this transformation solidifies, you will begin to understand something powerful. What God protected you from was not just an attack, it was a distraction meant to delay your destiny. Now that it has failed, nothing stands between you and the fulfillment that is approaching. Your steps will feel guided. Your decisions will feel clearer. Your purpose will feel sharper. Your heart will feel lighter. And the world around you will begin to respond to this new spiritual frequency. Because transformed people transform their environment. Protected people move with confidence. Chosen people walk differently. You are crossing a threshold out of survival and into fulfillment, out of fear and into purpose, out of turbulence and into divine alignment. Everything is about to look different because you are different. As this word comes to its close, take a slow breath and let everything you've heard settle gently into your spirit. You've walked through revelation, through protection, through instruction, through transformation. Now it is time to seal all of this with truth. Truth, you can speak truth, you can carry truth, you can return to whenever you need strength. Here are 4 powerful affirmations for this season. Repeat them softly. Repeat them boldly. Repeat them until your spirit rises in agreement. 1. What was meant to harm me cannot touch me. Say it until it becomes the rhythm of your heart. Nothing designed in darkness has the authority to override what God has spoken over you. You walk in divine protection. 2. God goes before me and nothing can stop what He has ordained. Say it until fear loses its strength. Every step you take is guided. Every decision you face is held in His hands. You are not walking blindly, you are walking boldly. I am shifting into alignment with my destiny. Say it until you feel it. You are not behind. You are not delayed. You are not forgotten. You are right on time for what God is unfolding. 4. The attack failed because I am covered. Say it with confidence. You survived because you were protected. You were sustained because you were chosen. You stand strong because heaven stands with you. Let these affirmations shape your thoughts, your atmosphere, your mindset, and your steps. Speak them in the morning. Speak them before you sleep. Speak them when doubt tries to whisper. They are not just words, they are spiritual anchors. And now, receive this blessing. May the peace of God surround you like a warm cloak, settling every anxious thought and silencing every lingering fear. May His light shine upon your path, illuminating every next step with clarity, wisdom, and assurance. May His protection wrap around you like a shield, guarding you from every visible and invisible threat. May His presence walk before you, beside you, and behind you, covering every direction of your life. May His favor rest upon you in abundance in your relationships, your work, your decisions, and your destiny. May His voice become clearer than the noise, His leading stronger than your doubts, and His love deeper than any fear that tries to rise. You are not stepping into your future alone. You are stepping into it covered, strengthened, awakened, transformed, protected. Heaven has spoken over you, and its word will not return empty. What the enemy tried has already failed. What God has planned is already unfolding, and what is meant for you will not be denied. Walk in peace. Walk in confidence. Walk in divine expectation. Your breakthrough is not coming, it has begun.